Welcome, soccer fans, to historic Dillon Stadium in Hartford for today's CIAC Class L final between the Wethersfield Eagles and the Fitch Falcons. Hey there, this is Jim Leahy coming to you from Hartford with my broadcast partner, Colin Delaney. The sixth out of 8 matches this weekend. It's been a great weekend so far. Colin, on paper, this looks like David versus Goliath. Wethersfield, 25 finals appearances, 15 state championships. Fitch had never won a state tournament match until this season.
Truly remarkable when you think about it. I mean, Fitch has had some great teams over the years. I think back to the 80s with some really phenomenal teams and some talented teams. But looking back, can't seem to come across any of those first-round wins. But, definitely a David and Goliath type matchup. But speaking with, Coach Wolfrat from the Fitch side, he's kind of embracing that.
Absolutely. We spoke to him earlier in the week. He's facing a tough squad from the CCC, but including 2 preseason matchups. This is his 5th CCC game of the season, so he's pretty comfortable playing in that environment.
Yeah, he feels very battle-tested. These guys have been playing a tough schedule all season long. The ECC's had some great teams this year. We have 3 ECC teams in the semifinals and 2 have finals appearances, 1 winning yesterday, Stonington over Ellington. So certainly he feels his boys are ready to roll. They feel a lot of confidence, but they do kind of feel they're playing a little bit of house money.
And let's set the starters for today's matchup. First, for the number 14 seed, Fitch Falcons. In goal, number 1, Nathan Virtue. Number 2, Luke Norica. Number 3, Thomas Ford, a captain. Number 4, Mika Diggs. Number 5, Alex Bakayaki. Number 7, Sebastian Duffy. Number 8, Douglas Cardona. Number 9, James Miner. Number 10, Diego Martinez. Number 11, Peter Petropoulos. Number 14, Tim Lynch. And for the Wethersfield Eagles, number 1, Ricky Torres. Number 3, Marco Capasso. Number 4, Connor Swanson. Number 5, Owen Ametovich. Number 6, Sam Gustafson. Number 8, William McCarter. Number 13, Antonio Contreras. Number 14, Joseph Taya. Number 15, Sam Johnson. Number 18, Giancarlos De Jesus. And number 23, Josh Gastal. And the ball rolls out for a Wethersfield goal kick.
2 class teams going at it today, despite the fact that this is Fitch's first state finals appearance. Knowing Coach Wolfrat and the likes of Coach Lynch and Coach Ford, he'll have the boys ready to roll. I'm sure you'll see a little bit of butterflies and some anxiety because certainly it's a big stage and a big crowd on a beautiful day here at Dillon Stadium. But once we settle in, I assume we'll see some pretty good soccer between both the Wethersfield Eagles and your Fitch Falcons.
Yeah, folks, surprised to see this matchup in Class L. 2 double-digit seeds, the only soccer state final where both seeds are in the double digits. Lots of upsets this year as we don't have a single number 1 seed proceeding through to the final, but 12 and 14 is a matchup you don't expect.
No, certainly not. I mean, you don't see too many 12 and 4s in the finals, but it's kind of a testament to the schedule they play this year. Despite the fact that they're 12 and 4, they have a lot of big time teams they've played, which I think kind of prepared them for this run in the Class L tournament.
Wethersfield working the ball down a flank, well defended by Fitch. Ball rolls out for a Wethersfield throw.
It's a careful balance with putting your out-of-conference or out-of-division schedules with some tough teams just to make sure you make the tournament. And once you're in, I think those big games will certainly help you in an environment like this.
Well, they haven't had an easy road to the final. If you look at it, the Fitch Falcons had to beat number 2 Watertown and number 3 Middletown in their state tournament run.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's been a difficult road, but once again, those kinds of games will lend themselves to this kind of environment for sure.
Fitch now building the ball out of the back. Long direct ball over the top. Cut out by Wethersfield.
That ball came from Micah Diggs. Micah Diggs is actually new to the Fitch Falcon family, moving to Groton from Maryland, playing as part of the Pipeline Soccer Club down there, pretty big club. Down south, has been welcomely embraced by this Fitch Falcon team. A big part of the success defensively, playing that center back position, kind of a steady, force against some pretty big time teams this season.
Yeah, and Jay seemed to think it was good for him, a military kid moving to town. This has become kind of his support system.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Weathersfield has the ball now at the top of the box. Shot from distance. Little floater over the top. That'll be a Fitch goal kick.
Yeah, it's always tough coming into a brand new town, and as a 12th grade senior here, coming in and meeting new friends, new families, but certainly the soccer support family, and Jay Wolfrat does a great job of working with these kids and developing that kind of family mentality. Jay is a great motivator. These boys will run through a brick wall for him.
Weathersfield with some tight passing through the middle, but then a direct ball over the top right down the spine. Collected easily by the Fitch goalkeeper, Nathan Virtue.
Both teams just kind of getting settled in here, trying to find some rhythm, some chemistry, which we've seen really all weekend here at Dillon Stadium. And so fortunate to have great weather. I mean, we've just been so blessed with great weather all weekend long. A little chilly yesterday, but another sunshine-filled day here in Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah, nobody can complain about this except maybe Dave. Dave was outside on the camera on the cold day, and now he's inside in the studio on the warm day. So, Dave, you got the short straw on that one. And Fitch drawing a dangerous foul in the box. That was number 10. Diego Martinez on the dribble just outside the box. The Weathersfield defender dangled a leg out there, and this is going to be a dangerous set piece for Fitch. 23 yards from the center of the goal. Probably about 8 yards off the end line.
Tim Lynch will step up for Fitch.
Chipped into the box. Clearance header goes right back to Lynch. Good defensive play there, but can't keep it in touch. Tim's family has a bit of a soccer pedigree, no?
Yeah, they're the blue bloods of families when it comes to a soccer standpoint. Yeah, Tim's father, Dave, who's an assistant coach on the team, is a former UConn soccer player. Great soccer player and actually a good friend of mine, and certainly it's nice to see some local guys get a chance to play in a big game like this.
Long throw from Fitch into the box. Weathersfield wins the header and now cleared out. Not far, though. Off the referee. That new rule, referee blows the whistle, ball's down, Weathersfield will take possession.
I think that new rule is taking a lot of people by surprise if they're not familiar with the rule changes. But, yeah, if that ball hits the official, it's a dead ball, and then a play on from, in this case, Weathersfield.
Ball given away in the middle of the park. Lynch picks it up, plays up to Duffy. Back to Lynch, and now outside. Oh, but there's a foul in the play. They're going to put it on the floor, and it's going to be a Weathersfield free kick.
You might hear a lot of the Lynch to Duffy today. Lynch has been kind of their, captain, obviously, on the roster, but also captain of the field. Great field vision in general, and a lot of balls to Duffy.
And Duffy's got 11 goals on the season. He's the leading scorer for Fitch.
So that might be one of the keys. If they can find a ball into Duffy, maybe an occasional lateral pass or negative pass, and then try to overlap into that final end, because certainly Weathersfield's very stingy defensively.
Nice step by the Fitch center back, James Miner. Ooh, penetrating ball in the front, cut out by Fitch again. And then Weathersfield retains possession. Plays out to the flank. I thought it was my eyes, but it's interesting. The Weathersfield numbers, even for the single-digit players, they have 2 numbers on their back. It actually makes the call a little more challenging.
It does. It does. And, of course, they're not white. They're silver, which makes it challenging on the dark blue, which we've had issues all weekend long, I think, with some of these new jerseys. The styles of the fonts and the colors. I mean, yesterday with the goalkeeper, we couldn't tell what number she was, and we were calling the young lady the wrong name for about 20 minutes.
Ball driven up. Header from Weathersfield. Comes down. Here we go. Weathersfield retains possession in the bank, but again, Fitch very quick to step up, and you can see how Lynch there does just settle the game down.
Yeah, what we're seeing from Fitch so far is, I think, just in general, there's another one off the
Referee
official.
hitting the second time in the first 8 minutes. I think he's got to move a little further from play.
To his credit, though, he brought that ball nicely down off his chest.
He was. I thought he was going to volley it at the goal.
So we have another restart here.
This time Fitch, and the ball's played directly out of touch. Little communication mistake on that one.
Although playing the ball to Coach Yakum is never a bad idea. He is soccer royalty in this state for sure.
Like first-round draft pick from the, I want to say Columbus Crew, if I remember correctly.
I think you are correct.
Oh, great ball into the middle. Weathersfield striker, that's number 23, runs onto it, cuts it back to the middle, left foot toward the far post, and just sneaks wide. That's Josh Castell, the senior. Beautiful diagonal run into the box, gathered it, spun back around, looked for that far post, couldn't quite hit his target. But that's our first real chance of the afternoon.
Yeah, and a dangerous one. If he wraps that foot around that a little bit more, that might just tuck inside the far post.
You got to like the composure. He didn't blast that. He knew, he saw the angle, he just missed his target.
But Fitch doing a good job of kind of bending but not breaking for the most part. That was a nice little through ball to the weak side.
I'm impressed by the way Fitch is actually stepping to the ball. Right, they're not back on their heels. They're actually playing forward. Here's Lynch again, over to Duffy, back to Lynch, slips a little bit, playing aggressively.
Yeah, Lynch is very, very good on the ball, very confident, always dribbling with his head up, sees the field really well, really can thread the needle with those passes at times.
Alex Bakayaki there plays the ball out of touch. It'll be a Weathersfield throw taken by Connor Swanson here. Swanson plays into DeJesus. DeJesus over to Amatek. Back to DeJesus. Lynch intercepts. Duffy back to Lynch. And now we've got Martinez. Martinez looked like he was in the starters blocks on that one. I thought this was the Olympic trials for a second.
Yeah.
He was down in a three-point stance and just wanted that ball in front of him.
And I think if that ball is a little bit less direct, more to the angle, I think he would have had a great opportunity to run onto it. A little too direct to the keeper there inside the box. And what we've seen, I think, for the most part at this point, we're about 10 minutes in or so, is we're seeing Weathersfield being pretty methodical with their possession, a bit more technical than maybe the Fitch side. But Fitch just has just an incredible, burst of energy. They're stepping to the ball. They're really putting a lot of pressure on Weathersfield to make really good passes. And to Fitch's credit, they're not giving these guys any room to wiggle.
Contreras plays a nice ball up to Johnson. Johnson looks to play over the top, gets cut out by the Fitch defense. Bakayaki drives it over the top. Bouncing ball can always cause trouble, especially when under pressure. Martinez was there. Duffy was there. And here's DeJesus looking over the top. Again, Weathersfield kind of mixing up the building from the back with those long, direct balls.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job of trying to mix up, the short technical triangle-type passing and then the occasional long, direct diagonal ball onto those oncoming runs.
Nice diagonal ball to the corner to Martinez. There's Lynch in the middle. Covered by Tata. He relieves pressure by playing black to Petropoulos. Again, shot from distance, harmlessly wide. It'll be a Weathersfield goal kick.
Would have liked them to maybe check their right shoulder. You had Thomas Ford on the right flank over here all by himself, kind of, demanding the ball a little bit, but at the same time, don't want to draw too much attention to himself. But that would have been a situation where I think the likes of Lynch or the other players could have maybe checked their right shoulder and passed that to the flank.
Pitch throw down the touchline, unable to hold it, so it'll go back over to the Weathersfield Eagles.
I think both teams still trying to figure each other out a little bit, trying to just be a little bit cautious about how they go about their business. But we have seen probably a little bit more possession on Weathersfield's side and a little bit more of the opportunities.
Amatek to DeJesus. DeJesus plays over here. Back to DeJesus. Tries to play into Swanson, overhits it, and it'll be a Fitch throw coming the other way.
Bakayaki with a big throw there.
Nice step by Gustafson, but Fitch wins the ball back. Boy, everything going through Lynch.
Yeah, no, he's going to be a real, cog in this machine all day long today. Both coming back defensively as well as getting the ball forward. They rely on him heavily for a lot of things, and rightfully so. Endicott bound, player looking to play at the next level for sure, which makes sense. Going to follow in his dad's footsteps from a college soccer standpoint.
Tata tries to send McCarter in. Again, overhits. Cleared up in the back by Mika Diggs. Diggs plays back to Nathan Virtue. Virtue puts it out the other side.
Fitch doing a nice job really trying to switching the fields when they can. They're definitely has a, fairly, high soccer IQ, and really both sides have that. Weathersfield doing the same thing up and down the field.
Ball down toward the goal line. Now swung across. That's a dangerous ball. Just a little too close to the keeper. There are two Fitch players waiting for that one, though, if he makes a mistake.
Yeah, that's a great ball. No bobble there by the keeper, though. Nice job by Weathersfield.
Here's Tata on the run. Lynch with a nice slide. Plays the ball out of touch.
Yeah, great tackle. Good decision-making. And you had guys who filled in his position in the central part of the field. So really working well together as a team so far, this Fitch Falcon team.
Jay Wolfrat very active on the sidelines talking to his players. It's the first state championship game for him, too. This is Robbie Yakum's 6th.
Yeah, this is old hat for Rob.
Is the state finals ever old hat?
No, it isn't. It isn't. But I think, it helps in the preparation, component. When you've been here as many times as Rob has in the big games that Rob has played in, I think it just helps, prepare your team and your staff for these kinds of, situations.
Yeah, the more you can make this feel like any other game, the more likely you are to succeed.
But it never really feels like a regular game. You can preach it all you want, but you can't really mimic this in training sessions.
Yeah, no, the question is, can you let the energy and excitement lift you to new heights, or are you going to or is it going to suffocate you? Like, those are the options.
Yep, that's a great point. But I think the more you're here for sure, I think you begin to appreciate it more. You never know. You think when you make your first one, your first semifinal, your first quarterfinal, your first final, you kind of feel like, like you can get back there right away, and it's not easy.
That is absolutely true. And how many teams do we see, though, that lose a final and come back the next year and win it all? De Jesus. Johnson. And fairly easy ball into Virtue.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many balls from Weathersfield, in tight. A lot of balls from distance, which Virtue, I think, will easily be able to collect.
Really just the one.
Right.
Fitch now knocking it around. Weathersfield pretty well organized in the back. There's a lot of blue shirts right there, so he does fit the smart thing and turns it around, plays it back to Lynch. Lynch tries to find Duffy, but he's surrounded by 5 Weathersfield defenders. That pass isn't going to get through very often.
No, not at all. But, patient on the part of Fitch. I mean, they're looking for opportunities. When it's not there, they'll play lateral, they'll play negative. They're not trying to make that dagger pass and lose possession. Looks like one of the first subs will be coming on the game in a moment. You got number 6, Nicholas Kubina Idrovo.
They're trying to get the referee's attention. There it is.
In a big game like this, in your first final, I can't imagine Coach Wolfrat's going to go too deep into his bench. I think he's going to probably be conservative. That's what most coaches tend to do in these situations.
Diego Martinez gets a little break. It is a senior-laden squad there at Fitch. Really, both teams. This is probably the most seniors we've seen in any game all weekend.
Right. I think we had a game there today where there's, one senior on the field, right? Was that Mercy?
I think that's right. We were commenting this morning that in the first game that Northwest Catholic only has like 2 or 3 seniors in the whole squad. A small school like that, though, you have to be ready to come in and play as a freshman.
True.
These bigger programs, you have some time to mature.
Right. Well, we talked about it yesterday in the Farmington Cheshire game. Maybe the hardest part is, they have so much talent. Is who's your best 11?
Yeah, that's a problem I don't mind having. Lynch with a nice play, knocking that ball down. He's losing his captain armband. It looks a bit like he's playing flag football out there.
He's moving so much, and he's so physically. And so, I think Fitch in general has shown more athleticism at times than Weathersfield, but Weathersfield definitely showing a lot of that very methodical approach to their possession and their tactics. But that's what makes it fun.
That's true. Ta-ta.
Yeah, there's that step again from Fitch. They're doing a really good job of knowing when to stay in the guy's back pocket, when to step forward and win that ball. I think situations like that, if Wethersfield allows them to hang around for a while, that could be dangerous for the Eagles going forward.
Yeah, no question. As long as Fitch times those right, you don't want to miss on one of those because then that's a direct ball in. But Wethersfield is probing from deep, and Fitch has been able to read it. There's a nice move on the outside by McCarter, but he gives it away.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they're kind of probing, seeing what they can get away with, and then I think over time, if Fitch isn't too careful, they'll find that hole. Very good teamwork there by the center backs there, shielding the ball off, and then Micah Diggs doing a nice job getting through. That's a tough tackle.
Ooh, that is a tough tackle from number 13, Contreras.
Kind of studs up. I'm glad everyone made it out alive of that one.
Again, nice defensive play by Fitch, and they break out coming the other way.
Loads of real estate to use here.
Again, Wethersfield back in the middle, but that goal line's open for a cross.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite get there, gets turned around the other way, and ends up dribbling the ball over the goal line for a Wethersfield goal kick.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him take a chance earlier before that pressure got on him and serve that ball. He seemed to be favoring his right foot there.
Just going to say, he did not look interested in trying to whip that ball in with his left. You know, one of the things I like to do as a coach is actually have right-footed players on the left flank and left-footed players on the right flank. And you can teach someone to cross with their wrong foot, but you can't really teach them to shoot with the wrong foot from distance.
Yeah, a right-footed player on the left side, cut it on your right foot, and then rifle a ball in the frame. But you can really figure out how to whip those balls in with your opposite foot.
Right. Not there.
Not there. Not there. He wanted no part of that right now.
Wethersfield working the ball out of the back. Now a ball over the top, overhit. Mika Diggs in the back's going to let it go to Nathan Virtue.
And looks like Wethersfield will be sending on their first sub shortly. Well, I can't tell if that's a 5 or a 9.
That's a 9 because 5 is already in. Thomas Brodowitz. Say one thing to watch right now, the Fitch goalkeeper, Nathan Virtue, tends to drop to his knees on most balls hit into his midsection. You've got to make sure your hands are clear if you're going to do that, because when you give up a rebound, you're not in a place to get to it.
Hard to dive off your knees.
It is. You know, Coach Wolfrat, and I spoke about him a little bit. He said he is a bit of an unconventional goalkeeper. He's a sophomore, so he's pulling a heavy load on a senior-laden team. Makes a lot of stops for them, and that's great. But that's just one thing to keep your eye on for later in the game.
Yeah, big sophomore, though. Seems to be a big athletic body, someone that obviously has done a good job for him throughout the season to get him to this point.
Absolutely, and it's a corner kick for Wethersfield. It comes short to the top of the box. Now the ball driven across, but that's actually pushed out again toward the electrical junction box. We've seen that hit two or three times today.
Yeah, we saw a few from Stonington yesterday.
Yeah.
I think Will Sound put a few over the pipes yesterday in that area, but I think a set play like that is important for Fitch to kind of remember because Wethersfield's going to be very, very. They're going to mix up their restarts, whether it's corner kicks, indirects, and directs. You're going to see some different looks. So if they're not marking up tight, they're going to be in. Going to have some problems.
Well, and I think we've got a coach with the experience that Joachim has at Wethersfield. He's also looking to change the shape of Fitch's back. Right. So if he comes short a few times, they're going to have to send guys out there. That's going to create openings for him in the box.
It's always important to mix up your restarts, especially on those corner kicks. You really can, your opponent not knowing what you're going to do can really change their shape for the better from your standpoint.
Nice tackle there, but the ball rolls easily to Ricky Torres.
So we're just over 20 minutes into this first half here. It's kind of flying by. A lot of back and forth action, some box-to-box work. I would say that at this point, Wethersfield's probably got a slight edge and advantage for possession and attacking opportunities, but certainly Fitch hanging around, doing a nice job of, really kind of bending but not breaking and just kind of really working to those balls. You see them really stepping to those balls at times.
Well, to continue the David and Goliath metaphor, I haven't loaded the slingshot yet, but David's got to be happy with his positioning right now.
No, for sure. For sure. And they're getting more comfortable. It's one of those situations where as they gain confidence, that could be problematic for Wethersfield throughout the game.
McCarter takes the ball on the dribble. Across the middle of the park. A couple slides from the Fitch defenders. Ball still near his feet. Asking for a dangerous play call and gets it. A couple good slide tackles there, but the ball got stuck underneath the Fitch player. And you can't keep playing the ball when you're lying on the ground.
No, and I think he got away with maybe the second one. That was his third slide tackle in probably the last 15 seconds there. So at some point, you're going to get a call.
Yeah, you got to stay on your feet. This is in a dangerous place. Number 5, Owen Amatovic.
It's just out far enough where you might be able to get over the wall and dip it. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of set play in their toolbox here.
Yep. In a conversation with Connor Swanson now. Yeah, I mean, not really a dangerous effort.
No.
Took the ball over the wall. Never really enough dip. Not really enough power.
But at the same time, you had so many blue shirts that were available that I would have actually liked him just to slot a ball somewhere, draw the defense forward, and then maybe do a little chip or something of that nature just to put you guys in a better spot. Because if you miss that shot, you miss the shot. I mean, give yourself a chance on the frame.
McCarter comes out. Josh Cristal back in the game. Fitch takes a short goal kick. Now they play it out here to the right to Bakayaki. Nice step by Tata. Almost gets the ball from Lynch, but Lynch recovers. Seems to have fixed that captain's armband at this point. It's resecured. And Tata again steps.
I mean, Fitch is really using, Timmy Lynch a lot, and obviously Weathersfield's aware of that, so they are keeping mind of him. They're really applying a lot of pressure anytime he's near the ball.
Gustafson played the ball in to his teammate. Again, given the challenging numbers here, I want to get this right. I believe that was Steve Bitoja. 22. Steve Bitoja with a shot on goal, saved by Virtue, and another save by Virtue.
So Virtue definitely getting a bit of a workout here. Nothing too dangerous. You had a couple opportunities that were tighter in the box, but nothing that's been really a difficult save to make. But I do see him dropping to the knees, as you mentioned earlier, which once again, if he does drop a ball, it's really going to prohibit him from making a second save on that opportunity.
Lynch out to the flank, ball whipped across the face, chested down to the floor, and driven up and out. Lynch makes a play on it. Tata able to work it around him, little wall pass, and now Weathersfield's on the counter. Ball played into space ahead of Brodowitz. But Mika Diggs is going to shepherd that one out of play, and he does.
And he's a big fella. He's not a guy I think he's going to get pushed off too many shielded balls.
That is true. And a couple substitutions here. De Jesus coming back on for Weathersfield. Kyan Potenciano coming on for Fitch. Yeah, I notice those little things like a goalkeeper dropping to his knees because I've spent a little time coaching goalkeepers, and it's a habit you try to break. Doesn't always work.
It's thousands of hours of muscle memory you got to try to fix. At this point, these guys are sometimes 16, 17, 18 years old, and that is not easily fixed in a couple of training sessions.
And if you're going to do it, you want to wrap your body all the way around it and literally collapse onto it, just because then there are fewer places it can go. Tata getting not Tata. That's 13 Contreras getting a little stuck there, but manages to get the ball out.
When it comes to goalkeeping mechanics, you are the authority, Jim. I mean, for those in our listening audience who don't know, Jim Leahy is a legendary goalkeeper, and he will never probably tell you this himself, but certainly someone that has the chops to be commenting on that. Jim Leahy, former National Goalkeeper of the Year in the NCAA.
Virtual comes out, an easy grab. Again, another ball, not a dangerous one, up in the air in the box, but he makes the play. No comment, Colin.
I didn't expect one. Didn't expect one. But I'm still going to mention it.
Doug Cardona checking back in for Fitch. The early substitute, Kobena Idrovo, back out. Weathersfield clears the ball out of touch. It'll be a Fitch throw. taken by Alex Bakayaki here. Bakayaki plays into Ford. Ford tries to work through Weathersfield. Does a nice job popping out the other side. A more direct ball into Kyle Potenciano. But it's cut out.
Yeah, nice job by Thomas Ford. They're just kind of staying with it. Very technically sound. Found the opening. Just couldn't find that next pass.
Fitch do keep probing. This is the spot that's been the most open for them so far. Down in that corner.
Just waiting for that left foot outswinger.
Right. There's a ball launched into the box. Goalkeeper comes off his line. Easy grab. And a nice distribution out to the weak side on the floor. Just how we teach it. Cut back in the middle by Gestall, but a little heavy. He slams into the Fitch player Martinez, and that's a whistle. The referee's coming over for a little conversation. The universal sign for stop that.
Please, no more.
Never heard a referee say please.
Fitch is doing a nice job getting the ball on the flanks here. What we're not seeing, though, is we're not seeing a lot of numbers crash into the box on that service.
Lynch plays over to Petropoulos.
A little optimistic, as we used yesterday, that term a lot. That's probably a good 40 yards out.
Just making sure that
Keep him honest.
Ricky Torres is awake. Martinez almost with an opportunity there. Ford puts it back in the box. Torres off his line. That Weathersfield keeper's pretty confident and comfortable. I like his movement early.
Yeah, coming off his line well, coming up in the air. And most of those balls he's catching and collecting, not just punching away.
Tata, two number 14s going at it there. Lynch comes over and stops him.
Tata has some wheels. You can see that. Good use of his body.
The driven ball by Diggs over the top. Contreras clears it out to the side. Played back into Connor Swanson. Swanson to Castell over here on the wing. And who's that? Mr. Lynch cleaning it up. Contreras.
Potenciano, he needs help. He needs some help up there. Delivering balls in a 1v4, he's having a hard time holding it up by himself. He needs to, if you're going to make that an entry ball, you need guys to be just negative of you, to play that ball back to you, and then build from there.
Weathersfield steps in front of the pass, and then Fitch wins it right back. Just under 10 minutes left in this first half of the Class L Boys Soccer State Final. Weathersfield against Fitch, the only game featuring two double-digit seeds in this entire weekend of Connecticut High School State Championship action. This is Jim Leahy here at Dillon Stadium in Hartford with my broadcast partner, Colin Delaney. What you've expected so far, Colin?
You know, it is. You know, I think in general, Weathersfield has done a pretty tidy job of keeping the ball and moving the ball, and, you know, they seem to be a little bit more tactically and technically sound. But, you know, Fitch is very, very athletic, and they are relentless in their pursuit of this ball. While keeping their shape. I mean, they did a nice job in the back of communicating and, you know, keeping the ball out of dangers and harm's way.
Tata plays out to Swanson.
But I'll be honest,
Swanson
Jim,
looks for De Jesus at the top. Yep.
You know, I don't think that it's a situation where it's so much David and Goliath from a 2021 standpoint. It is from a program standpoint, certainly, you know, just based on the history of both teams. But really, you know, both of these teams deserve to be here. And despite being double-digit seeds, it's not for their ability. It just comes down to their, you know, really grueling, you know, season schedule this year.
Well, we were saying last night, you know, the last time that Weathersfield won a state championship, none of these players were in high school. Most of them probably weren't even in grammar school. Ford launches the ball down towards Ricky Torres, who handles it fairly easily, and Weathersfield will reset here with 8 minutes left in the first half.
Fitch right now kind of getting into the midfield, but then kind of launching balls into that final third. I'd like to see them check their shoulders and maybe find a Lynch, you know, maybe find, Martinez to kind of build it laterally, not just so vertically.
Ford doing a nice job putting pressure on Weathersfield there. The pass into Jesus, a little behind the target player. Here's Tata on a run through the middle. Drops it out to Castell. Castell back to Tata. Tata's got to Jesus, goes for him, but it's actually knocked away by number 9, James Minor. And now it's Fitch coming the other way. Duffy down in the channel. He's 1v1, but he turns it back, being patient. tries to drive it in against number 13, Contreras. The ball goes out for a Fitch throw-in.
And you're going to see when Duffy does go wide like that, you're going to see Lynch, move out of the 6th spot and drop into that kind of, false 9 position to receive that ball. And Tim in his own right has a number of goals for Fitch this year.
Ball served into the box by Bakayaki, easily headed out by the Wethersfield defense. And it's back to Bakayaki, who drives the same ball in. And once again, it's headed out. Swanson tries to play it, doesn't.
Yeah, I don't mind the long ball so much, Jim, but, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and over again, expecting a different result. And really, Fitch was mixing their attack, but now they've kind of just been comfortable with just launching those balls in that final third, but Duffy can't do it on his own.
And DeJesus gathers it near midfield, tries to turn, got a bunch of defenders around him, and Fitch wins the ball. And Wethersfield wins it back.
It's become a bit of a ping-pong match from that standpoint.
It is, the center backs in each team really haven't had to put up with a striker menacing in front of them. Sometimes you want to push a player up like that just to split the attention of that center back so that Diggs or any of the Wethersfield center backs, they can't relax, right?
Right. Well, we saw it in the Farmington-Cheshire game yesterday. It was just, attacking players, going at players in that final third all game long, especially in that first half. Haven't seen much of that in this situation. It's been a lot of midfield play and then maybe some flank balls that were served in.
Yeah, to be honest, with the exception of Lynch, really no single player has stood out so far in this match. It's been a nice team construct. Guys are working the ball nicely. Yep. But Lynch is the only player, maybe Tata a little bit with his speed. But last night we had Gallagher and Sensei and Murphy. Murphy
Malone.
Murphy Malone.
Murphy Malone, that's right. Nice Irish lad, as we said. But, yeah, I was really, impressed with Gallagher last night. Sensei, certainly had some good finishing, but Gallagher was just a man possessed last night. And here's kind of some movement from Fitch on the ground, which is nice to see. Just can't get that third pass or second pass through.
Well, here's a dangerous situation here as Tata takes the ball at pace towards Diggs. He's going to step over and go to his right, get a shot off from in front. Diggs does a nice job getting a foot on it so it rolls easily to Virtue. But again, dropping to both his knees. Nobody there to pick up a rebound. If he'd bobbled that one, it really wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, the good news is, as a sophomore, he's got a couple years to correct some of those, muscle memory issues and some bad habits. But, hopefully today it doesn't become one of those factors.
I would tell you, though, if I'm coaching against Fitch today, I'm telling my strikers to follow every ball into his hands because you only have to bobble one. We've seen a few bobbles over the course of the weekend. Goalkeepers are going to do that.
Well, we talked about how good, Tavares from Stonington was off his line, but he struggled sometimes with those hard balls to his hands, those second chance opportunities. But, yeah, you're right. In this environment, teams are so good, one mistake could be costly.
Ball into Duffy, played back to Lynch. Lynch with a direct ball through the middle, but it rolls through all the way to Ricky Torres as Owen Amatovic.
I think if Duffy checks his left shoulder there and realizes no one's there, he doesn't try to take that far foot touch. He just goes with the ball. He might have had a chance to get to it, but he kind of looked for that far foot touch, and then you realize that, no one's there.
DeJesus receives, plays back to Contreras. Contreras over to Batoa. Oh, and a giveaway right at the midfield stripe. Lynch collects. Plays outside. Now down the left channel.
That's why I like to see the Fitch team kind of step and shrink. You still got the three backs here beyond the half field. You're way down here near the 18. Step up and squeeze the field. It becomes more difficult when you're this stretched out.
No, and it's true. We want people to play more compactly, and what we're seeing here is a little bit of an accordion, right? They're going, they're stretching out and then getting compact.
Well, when that rubber band gets stretched too much, it begins to snap, and then that's when bad things happen. But, yeah, they need to kind of move forward and back. I understand that they kind of feel that Wethersfield has this potent attack, but if you give them more space, it makes it even more potent.
Sure, the last place you want to leave space is in the middle.
Right.
But here comes Fitch. They've got Ford out here in the wing, but the pass doesn't quite get there. Little step by Connor Swanson. Lays the ball out for McCarter, but he's not able to get to it before it's cleared over the touchline. Now a throw in up top. Ball laid back to Tata. He's one-on-one with Lynch. Little wall pass around Lynch, and they get it. That was one of the better opportunities, but he just didn't get enough purchase on the shot.
Yeah, Tata is certainly looking for any daylight he can get and putting shots. It's his second shot for the last 3 to 5 minutes here. Not hard to handle, but certainly balls as the game progresses he might see more of.
Well, again, he's not trying to take Lynch on, which could be difficult. He's trying to play wall passes around him, which is what a smart player will do.
Right.
And here comes Lynch, who tries to take on Contreras. Contreras knocks the ball out, and they play it out to Ford. Ford whips it around the front. Easy gather for Ricky Torres.
Like the idea. He's got to wrap his foot around it a little more bend, keep it further outside the 6, because we've seen so far from the Wethersfield keeper, he's collecting all those balls quite easily in the air.
Yeah, he's pretty comfortable back there. Here's Contreras.
Yeah, seen some great goalkeeping this weekend, though, all the way through on both the boys and girls side.
Absolutely.
Is it Erin Flynn, the girl, the Louisville-bound player?
I don't want to guess at her name again because I got it wrong for 20 minutes last night. It is Erin.
I think it's Erin Flynn. I'm going to go with that. I'm sure we'll get a phone call.
I happen to have the roster from last night, so I'm going to make sure before I disrespect her again. I really didn't like doing that. That was not my favorite thing.
No, especially from a goalkeeping standpoint, right? From one goalkeeper to another. So less than a minute here at Dillon Stadium in the Class L boys final between
Aaron Floyd.
And Floyd had the FL right. Flynn, Floyd. The number 12 Wethersfield Eagles, number 14 Fitch Falcons. A battle of the predatory birds.
Well, eagles aren't really predatory. They tend to eat scraps off the ground.
Just go with it, Jim.
It's just one of those great Ben Franklin facts. Ben Franklin thought the national bird ought to be a turkey.
Yeah.
Ball played deep over the top. Contreras cleans it up. Duffy's on him, but not really causing him much trouble. Marco Capasso looks to launch the ball into the area. McCarter's over there, takes it down, but a heavy touch, and Nate Virtue was able to grab it with 10 seconds left. Looks like we're going to play out the string in this first half and finish it up 0-0. And that's the end of the first half from here at Dillon Stadium in Hartford. 0-0 between the 12th-seeded Wethersfield Eagles, the 14th-seeded Fitch Falcons. Here with my broadcast partner, Colin Delaney. Looking at the action, Colin, what are your thoughts after 40 minutes of scoreless action?
Although it's scoreless action, it was action-packed. We had a lot of interesting play. I think it started off where Wethersfield was very kind of just easing into the game, moving the ball, getting their rhythm. Certainly had the lion's share of the possession, I think, in that first half, and probably the lion's share of the really attacking opportunities. But to Fitch's credit, it was a bend but don't break mentality. I thought their defense did a nice job staying in shape and composed. I think they started mixing in the possession versus long balls, but then kind of finished the half with a lot of long ball approaches, which I think if they want to be successful, they need more numbers in that final third. You can't have Duffy versus 5. But in general, it's been an entertaining first half. Looking forward to seeing the energy that both teams will bring in about 10 minutes.
What I'm hoping is that we see people start playing for the win. I didn't see any chances. Nobody took chances that half. Nobody took risks. We didn't see any overlapping backs from the back.
Right.
We didn't see people flooding the zone to try to get opportunities. That was a 40 minutes of, let's see what you got, I'll show you what I got. And I don't think either team has put all their cards on the table yet. I'm looking forward to an exciting second half from here at Dillon Stadium. Again, this is Jim Leahy with Colin Delaney. We're going to check out for now. And we'll be back in just a few minutes for the second action here in the Class L final for the CIAC Boys Soccer Championship.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 70 courses, including more than 30 free courses, such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. To learn more, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
The NFHS Learning Center is the leader in online education for the interscholastic community. At NFHSLearn.com, you can find over 70 courses, including more than 30 free courses, such as concussion in sports, heat illness prevention, sudden cardiac arrest, and protecting students from abuse. To learn more, visit the NFHS Learning Center.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 12 million participants in America who take part in high school sports or activities.
Welcome back to beautiful Dillon Stadium here in Hartford, Connecticut. Halftime between the Wethersfield Eagles and the Fitch Falcons. Two double-digit seeds here in the Class L tournament final. I'm here and joined by Paul DeCastro. Paul DeCastro, the state championship winning coach, two-time state championship winning coach, 2019 and 2021. You can make an argument, Paul, that maybe you could have won 2020 if COVID didn't strike.
Maybe, but we're happy with yesterday's results, so we'll take 2019 and 2021 to start.
So, Paul, we're here today, and I know you're joining us because your good friend Jay Wolfrat, the coach of the Fitch Falcons, is very fortunate to be in this Class L final, the first time for Fitch in a Class L final. Nice to see two ECC teams having two finals on two separate days. What are your thoughts in the first half?
Yeah, absolutely. We had three great battles with Fitch this year, and I think some of our battles probably helped our team and their team prepare for the state tournament. Obviously, you have a team like Wethersfield that's been here 20 times and coached by Rob Yacom. I think Wethersfield's had a little bit better of the possession and maybe a couple more opportunities on goal, but Fitch has definitely held strong defensively, and we're 0-0 here, so it's still anybody's game, I think.
We talked a little bit about, Fitch's schedule this season and how that might help prepare them and be battle-tested for this kind of environment. We also talked a little bit about the David versus Goliath mentality that, they're certainly kind of embracing that David mentality because, with Wethersfield having won, 15, state championships over the years and Fitch being in their first, we talk a little bit about, their season schedule. What are your thoughts about, what kind of bind do you think the boys have from a schedule standpoint preparing them for this state final?
Yeah, I mean, certainly Fitch, they played us 3 times. They played Ledyard twice. They played Bacon Academy, NFA. So definitely some pretty good competition, I think, in the ECC this year. And Jay's a great coach. I know he did a great job saying, this is our first time here. We're playing against the mighty Wethersfield team who's been here 20 times. So I'm sure he did a great job playing that up with his boys. So Fitch is here for a reason. They got good players. They're well coached. So excited to see what happens here in the second half.
Yeah, we said despite the fact that their programs might be very different from a historical standpoint, that both teams belong, in this game. This is not a fluke for either one. They both worked their tail off to get here, and certainly, many of the boys on the Fitch side would run through a brick wall for Jay Wolfrat. He's certainly a guy that is beloved by, his players and his coaching staff. What do you think needs to happen from both sides here in the second half to, put a goal in the back of the net here?
Yeah, I think obviously Wethersfield looks like they have some really technical players. Maybe get forward a little quicker with urgency for Wethersfield, and get maybe some overlapping runs, some quicker combinations, get the balls in the flank for them. I think Fitch was probably content with that 0-0 score. Obviously their best player, Timmy Lynch, maybe he's got to get forward a little bit more. Peter Petropoulos, another really good player for them centrally, maybe sneak him forward a little bit more. Thomas Ford can really knock some good balls in the box. So clearly there's some good players out here in the field. So hopefully we can get some goals here in the second half.
Yeah, what we've seen all weekend long is really the first half. A lot of these teams kind of feel each other out, kind of a bit of a back and forth possession, mixing their attacks from direct to lateral movement. But in general, we've seen second halves that come out like gangbusters. In your game yesterday, Ellington, 45 seconds in, they score that goal. That's got to kind of scare a little bit. But just in general, we've seen a lot of second half action for sure.
Yeah, we're up 2-0 yesterday. Don't concede a goal, we win the state championship. We concede 40 seconds in the second half. So definitely made for a nail biter, and I'm glad for the fans. There were 4 goals in our game.
Yeah. Well, Paul, really appreciate you joining us at halftime here. Congratulations on your second state championship. Credit to you and your boys and your coaching staff, and all the best to you.
Thanks a lot for having us, Colin. Thank you.
Welcome back to Hartford's Dillon Stadium for the CIAC boys soccer final action between the 12th-seeded Eagles of Wethersfield High School and the 14th-seeded Falcons from Fitch. This is Jim Leahy with my broadcast partner, Colin Delaney, as we get ready to start the second half. Colin, what do you think went on in the locker rooms at halftime?
I think both coaches are just commenting on, it's a 0-0 game, a lot of soccer left to play. But in order to put one in the back of net, we got to take more chances here. It's a first half that was kind of vanilla at times, kind of filling each other out. But in general, you need to see more numbers forward, more risk taken. Otherwise, you're just going to be a back-and-forth box-to-box match.
Yeah, the biggest switch as we start the second half, and I guess Wethersfield has done this all season, but Ricky Torres did a nice job in the first half for them in goal, and we've got Chris Daly, another senior, coming in for the second half. Most coaches aren't comfortable switching goalkeepers in a season, never mind a match.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of ride the hot hand, and certainly, the Wethersfield goalkeeper in the first half did a great job, but it's working for them all season long, and certainly they got 2 quality keepers, so it's something that Rob has kind of felt comfortable with, throughout the 2021 season.
Well, McCarter does a nice job getting around the end there, almost gets a ball across, well defended by Fitch, but it looks like Wethersfield might have talked about putting more pressure on the Fitch back line.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think we've always seen a lot of energy in the second half of all these games this weekend. But, yeah, to your point, Coach Yakum certainly, was probably pretty happy with the possession, but not a lot of numbers and pressure in that final third.
Ball bouncing in the box. Fitch wants a handball call there, doesn't get it. Samuel Johnson working the ball along the touchline, trying to whip it in now. Nice little cutback. Plays the ball back to Capasso. Capasso up top to Tata. Back to Tata, but there's Mr. Lynch stepping forward. Owen Amatovich.
Yeah, and what you're seeing from Fitch right away is you already have 4 numbers now in that final third, which we saw 1 for most of the latter part of that first half. That's part of, Coach Wolfrat's probably thoughts too, is getting numbers forward. So I think you're going to see a little more pressure on both back lines in the second half.
And I know halftime's only 10 minutes, but just that little break does put a little pep back in your step, right? So guys are going to run around a little crazier for the first few minutes.
Right.
The question is, after 5 or 6 or 7 minutes in, they settle down and start playing. Do they keep that energy?
It's tough because it's a combination of adrenaline and the environment that you're in and the urgency of trying to win a state final.
It's interesting in the crowd. I was out there walking around during halftime while you were introducing Coach DeCastro here. And I will say that the Fitch fans seem much more excited than the Wethersfield fans. Maybe because they haven't been here before, but I think the 0-0 half felt better to the Fitch crowd than it did to the Wethersfield crowd.
Well, I think if you'd asked Coach Wolfrat before the game, would you take 0-0 at halftime, I think it would have taken that 100 times out of 100 because it just allows you to really have 40 minutes left to do some things to, find a way to win this game.
Well, we've said, both teams belong here. These are 2 good high school soccer sides. But Fitch is trying to overcome the perception that they don't belong here. And, the truth is any team can win a 40-minute game.
That's true. Sometimes the best team, on that day is better than the best team on paper.
Well, the ball spills out to Johnson on the right. He kind of pokes it through, but nobody coming to him. I think he was hoping DeJesus would make a diagonal run in the box. It didn't happen. But now Wethersfield gathers, but an easy giveaway toward midfield. And there's Amatovich coming out of the back, the big center back, rangy, tries to find Johnson on the wing, doesn't get it to him. He'll jog back to his position. Wethersfield comes over for the throw.
But you are seeing more numbers in that attack for sure. You see 3 people stretching in that back line of Fitch. They're really trying to apply some pressure, which should alleviate some pressure from guys, in the midfield.
Tata to Gustafson. Back to Amatovich. Amatovich with a long diagonal ball to the other side. It gets over the top. That's Connor Swanson chasing it down before the touchline. He's one-on-one on the flank. Will he take him on? Nope. Plays it inside. Wethersfield player not able to turn. And Fitch is able to clear the ball once again.
I saw Amatovich. 2 things that struck me in the pregame was Amatovich really striking long diagonal balls in the pregame, just kind of getting his body loose, and he was pretty surgical with that pass. And the other thing that struck me was Wethersfield doing a lot of overlapping runs to finish in that pregame as well. So certainly those are things that they kind of find to be their bread and butter.
But none in the first half. Either.
Correct.
None of either. No overlapping runs and no long diagonal balls. So we'll see if it comes to fruition in the second half.
But here we are, about 4 minutes in. We've already seen 1 big diagonal ball, and you're seeing a lot of numbers forward here. So maybe.
And here's Fitch getting forward. Number 11, Petropoulos, goes down just outside the box. This will be dangerous.
Yeah, just got enough of him to bring him down to the ground. Probably about 22 yards out. Definitely a dangerous spot to be. Probably a little too close to get up and down over that wall on frame. We'll see what Coach Wolfrat has drawn up for this Fitch Falcon situation in this final third early in the second half.
Well, and Wethersfield's going to have to put 3, maybe 4 in this wall, and that creates room for runners, right? You can run somebody here to this weak side. There's nobody over here on the strong side. Or are they just going to serve a ball across the box? Lynch looks like he wants to shoot, just from his body position.
Lynch always wants to shoot.
And he does. Oh, Amatovich with a nice left foot clear. I think it was left knee, actually.
Yeah,
Wethersfield wins the free ball. Plays to Tata in the middle, steps over it, and Diggs comes up. Tata wins it back. He's got Johnson out here on the wing. Coaches want to get him the ball. Instead, they play it in the middle to Gastel. He's broken up. Wethersfield retains possession, and it's Capasso on the wing who lofts one back to Diggs. That's not going to get you much.
No, more driven, a little more away from the goal box.
There's a ball on the floor, in, popped over the top. But again, Diggs having fun playing center field.
And there's that overlapping run we talked about, right?
There's a ball slotted around the back. Ball on the ground. Diggs does a nice job cutting out the cross. McCarter gets in the box again, and there's the finish. That's Josh Gastel. Josh Gastel, who had the same opportunity early in the first half. We've seen 2 or 3 times this half alone. William McCarter getting around that left back. This time he slots a ball on the ground just out of the reach of Nate Virtue, and it's a pretty simple finish for Josh Gastel.
Well, and that's that overlapping run we talked about, in pregame. So we've seen the two things that kind of impressed me in the pregame, the big diagonal ball, and then, of course, that entry ball, the negative or lateral ball, and then the overlap, and then slide it across. So that's something that this Wethersfield Eagles team works on all the time.
Yeah, we didn't see any of it in that first half, and I don't know that was by strategy, but I think Coach Jakob may have reminded them of where they're dangerous. 1-0, Wethersfield over Fitch, just more than 5 minutes into the second half.
Well, Fitch is certainly a little more sturdy down the spine, so if you can attack them on the flanks, it's going to create more opportunities, and certainly they did right there. Wethersfield going up 1-0 in the second half of this Class L final.
We've talked about that all day, especially in those 2-0-0 games yesterday, right? In a big game like this, it's that pass that makes the goal, that finish. And the goal scorer gets most of the credit, but it's the pass that creates the goal. Yeah. That was on a platter inside the 6. Great finish by Gastel, but the pass was what made the play.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that thing was well struck on the floor. I mean, all that is just a redirection. All the power's already in the ball, just high enough to outside the keeper's grasp, and certainly easy finish. But, great team concept by Wethersfield.
And here's an opportunity for Fitch, though, with the corner. The big boy, Mika Diggs, comes up. He's inside the 6 now. They're probably looking for that head. Whipped into the side netting, not deep enough.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of all those restarts because they haven't had too many. Fitch, in that first half, getting to the end line, getting a corner kick out of that actually might have been their first or second corner kick of the match.
I got to tell you, though, if I'm Fitch, I'm looking at that last play because Chris Daly off his line early and a pretty circular route out on a ball that was going out of touch. I'm going to drive the ball deep on the next corner if I can, could try to get him use his own aggressiveness against him. And there's Lynch with the win. Dispossessed by Johnson. And here's Wethersfield on the counter again. There's Johnson looking for that same flank. Cleared out by Ford, the captain. Not making any mistakes with that one.
No.
Hartford Athletic operations crew may have to take a dent out of the fence on that one.
Yeah, he laced that one for sure. Think back to, was it Melinda Ford yesterday, the goalkeeper, smashing a ball on that side of the field. Really, probably took the pain off.
Again, Ford, looking for a clear there, but this time he bangs it off the Wethersfield striker, and it'll be a goal kick for Fitch. Mika Diggs carries the ball out of his own area and now drives it up the right side, looking for Martinez. Chests it down. Plays Ford out in the flank. He's in the channel. Looks like one-on-one with Connor Swanson. A little too heavy a touch. Ball goes out of touch. Corner flag gets the worst of it.
Yeah, I think the touch a little too heavy there. I think it's a situation where, it's a 1v1 there, but he's running out of real estate. Maybe a cutback or a Kreif and then bring it across the box and try to find someone on top of the 18.
Wethersfield takes a short kick again. Amatovic plays it out to the flank, then driven down to Gastel, the goal scorer. Tata, showing his speed, takes it down, being chased by Luke Norika. One-on-one out in the corner, but now lays it back. That's Capasso. Capasso with the switch, headed out by Fitch. It'll be a Wethersfield throw.
Tata playing with a lot of confidence right now, always asking for the ball, always looking for ways to get involved in the play. He's certainly a player that Fitch needs to keep mindful of the second half. He's playing with more confidence as the game progresses.
Yeah, and he's got some wheels, too, so he can get in dangerous places. Gastel, the goal scorer, lays it back to McCarter, who just misses the far post.
McCarter was hitting some lasers in the pregame, too, I noticed. He has the ability to finish. Watch out for him, top of the 18, if he gets some daylight.
Mika Diggs, beautiful ball out in the flank to Douglas Cardona. Cardona tries to take it to the middle. Hassled by Tata. Wins it back, but not before it goes out of touch.
Been really impressed with Diggs. His distribution out of the back has been phenomenal. That's a lost art. Those driven balls, those laces balls along the turf, you don't see too many of those. A lot of them are lofted balls. He really hit that ball well. He's been a huge addition for this Fitch Falcon team this year.
Johnson gives it to Gastel and then to Gustafson. Gustafson over to McCarter. McCarter to the left side. Oh, off the post. McCarter, as you said, ripped a left-footed shot, 2 bounces off the goalkeeper's left-hand post and back into play, and Wethersfield's back in business.
Maybe he heard me because he hit that ball, almost as hard as he hit his pregame ball. He hit some serious rockets in that pregame. So once again, as players get more confident in this finals game, you're going to see more chances like that. And we've seen it all weekend long. Chances have been plentiful in the second half.
little good refereeing there. McCarter trying to get around the outside. Can't get around the Fitch back. Gives him a little shove in the back. Ball looked like it was out for a corner, but instead it's going to be down for a set piece. And Fitch is coming out. Mika Diggs carrying the ball up. Plays into Mr. Lynch. Out to the side. And Wethersfield wins it back. Gustafson plays back. A little tough to pick up the silver numbers on that far sideline. That's Castell in the middle, the goal scorer. Plays out here to the flank. I think it's overhit a little bit. Capasso lets it run. Fitch is going to have a throw from here, and Fitch is going to have their first substitution of the second half. Kion Potenciano.
I almost think Wethersfield's trying to go outside the football to the corner here, just kind of mishit it, kind of went in between.
It certainly wasn't weighted properly, regardless of where it was aimed. Capasso plays back to Daly. Tim Lynch looking for his teammate. Tata steps in, but number 11, Petropoulos, wins it back. Although not before fouling, so it's going to be a Wethersfield free kick. Pretty clean game overall.
Yeah, it's been a clean game. It's been well played by both sides. The officials doing a nice job keeping things in check for sure.
Tata looks for Capasso on the outside. He plays into Castell. Castell with a little flick to Johnson. Johnson coming into the area, tries a little half spin, half crife. Looking to do something. Manages to keep possession, plays it back to Capasso. Capasso goes to cross it. Martinez gets his boot in there, and it'll be a Wethersfield throw.
Man, we've got captain armbands flying all over the place today between Wethersfield and Fitch. Can't keep them on.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
Here's Duffy. We haven't called his number very much today. Martinez, the timing on that run was just off. Duffy cut the ball back. Martinez continued his run. Wethersfield, disciplined, held the line, and he was off. Because if he wasn't off, he was in.
Yeah, I think he was expecting Duffy to play a left-footed ball down the line. Duffy cut it back off his left, played it with his right, and that was like a half a second too long. Would have been a great run and a great ball.
I'll be honest, I thought he was going to play with his left in because it was the right play. Wethersfield building out of the back. Gustafson checks over. They pass on that and play to DeJesus in the middle. DeJesus looks up to McCarter, and the ball does skip through to Johnson. Johnson plays McCarter. McCarter on the right side, but Nicky Diggs says, nope, you're not getting by me.
Gets stepped on in the process.
Stepped on. It is going to be a Fitch throw as the ball nicked off McCarter on the way out. But Nicky Diggs is down, his head on the turf. It doesn't seem like much, but man, that hurts.
It does, especially on kind of a cold day. I know he's warm, he's probably sweating, but those are some sharp spikes. I mean, those are very, a lot of pounds per square inch, so to speak. And for a big boy that Mika is, that definitely hurts.
Yeah. And there's just a lot of nerves in your feet.
Yeah. Coach Wolfrat thinks the world of Diggs, military family, Coast Guard family joining, the community down there in Groton. In his words, tough as nails. So we're seeing that right now.
Martinez out on the flank. One-on-one to DeJesus. Plays Timmy Lynch in the middle. Lynch plays outside to Potenciano. He finds Martinez. Martinez with a touch to the top of the box. But again, one touch too many. Tata wins it. And then loses the ball out of touch. Wethersfield doesn't like the call. Fitch does.
Yeah, Fitch are taking like one too many touches in these little transition, these combination patterns. They got to play that ball a little sooner.
Potenciano again, maybe with an extra touch. Ball pops to Duffy. Contreras. Daly wanted it. Contreras didn't trust him to get there in time and just drove the ball over the far side touchline for a Fitch throw. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, there's a stat in EPL a few years back that 83% of all EPL goals were scored on 2 touch or less in combination play. After that third touch, it drops dramatically. So really trying to just put balls in the frame through letting that ball do the work.
Diggs drives it into the box. Martinez goes down, I would argue, fairly easily, looking for a call, but there was nothing there. Johnson dribbles toward the corner, plays Tata. Tata. Mark Norica. Back to Johnson. Now over to DeJesus. Timmy Lynch pokes it away from DeJesus. Now starts the counter to Duffy. Let's see, it's a foot race here. Contreras wins the foot race and plays the ball safely out of the back. That was the best break they've had in a bit.
It is, for sure. Haven't called Timmy Lynch's name too much in the second half because he's been doing probably more defending than moving forward.
DeJesus with a nice ball over the top, but Mika Diggs cleaned it up without much difficulty. Plays up to Ford. Ford takes it across the center stripe. Now he plays in toward Potenciano.
Yeah, kind of, telegraphed that pass there. Instead of playing to feet, kind of played to space.
I think that was Contreras cleaning that up, but it was a good read, but not a difficult read.
It looks like Cardona coming off the field for Wethersfield. Got a bit of a knock somewhere. He's kind of holding his stomach. Hopefully he's good to go and come back at some point during the game.
Long throw into the box. Fitch gets a head on it, but harmlessly over the goal line for a Wethersfield goal kick. 23 minutes and 35 seconds he left here in the in regulation in the Class L Boys CIAC State Soccer Championship. Wethersfield with the only goal early in the second half as Josh Gastel finished a beautiful ball from Will McCarter. And here's Wethersfield on the attack again. And there's Mr. Lynch. Whenever we say we don't call Tim's name, he must take it personally.
Pops back
it's
in.
Just,
He's a workhorse.
Petropolis wins the ball, tries to go forward with pace. Sandwiched.
Yeah, Tim Lynch doing a nice job of just kind of trying to slow things down. I think it's been so many big balls.
Oh, Duffy at the top. That's one of the best chances he's had today. Takes the strike. Oh, a little miscommunication. Lays it off for Petropolis. Petropolis thought he was going to shoot. And the ball rolls over the goal line for a Wethersfield goal kick. Yeah, I mean, Fitch is only down 1-0. They don't have to rush. There's plenty of time left here. They have to defend and be organized in the back and then look for opportunities. I would argue they don't want to put Duffy in foot races because he's not winning them.
No, and I think in general they think that they got to play this super direct brand of soccer, and they really don't, because sometimes when you do that, the back four Wethersfield collects that ball in a 1v4, Duffy versus 4, and then they take more time off the clock.
Speaking of direct, Wethersfield drives the ball up the middle. Gustafson can't get to it, so it rolls to Nathan Virtue, who picks it up. Ooh, struggles on the drop kick, but it does make its way most of the way to midfield. Tata's got it now. Sebastian Duffy.
And right now, Wethersfield really making the ball do the work, whereas Fitch is kind of doing most of the work, in a foot race. They really need to kind of move that ball a little more methodically throughout the field, try to pick their spots and find their holes.
Lynch plays to Petropolis. Petropolis looks outside to Bakayaki. Ball's played down to the corner. Daly off his line. Ball barely makes it into the box, but he does. A little early to be killing the game off here, but Daly stands over it just to kill a few seconds of clock. I don't know that that's the right move yet.
No, not with 21 minutes and 25 seconds left. I would wait a little longer to try to kill the game off, and I would try to maybe avoid doing it in the back end.
Well, and to be fair, he actually had an outlet on the weak side if he had picked it up right away. But by stalling like that, he actually let Fitch get back and get organized. And, of course, Mika Diggs ends up cleaning up the action down the other end. Ball played in the middle to Patoja. He's got Tata on the right flank. He just has to look over his shoulder. He does not. Ends up playing back to Capasso. I think it's important that Fitch knows where Tata is, but I think Wethersfield ought to make sure they know where he is, too. He's a pretty dynamic player, and he's in oodles of space out here on the flank.
Yeah, he's using this real estate out here in the side really to his advantage. And Wethersfield, in general, really doing a nice job this second half of keeping the ball on the floor and really knocking the ball around the Fitch defenders.
You can tell we've been here a long time. I can't believe I just said oodles.
It's been a long but fun weekend.
It is, and we got 2 more games after this. The Class L girls final featuring St. Joseph's of Trumbull against Simsbury, another FCAC versus CCC matchup. And then tonight's finale, Bill Phelps and his Canton team against Steve Waters' Old Saybrook squad. The NCCC against the Shoreline, 2 teams that are very familiar, 2 programs and leagues that are very familiar with Class S championships and the boys' Class S finale.
Steve Waters very familiar with Class championships of all kinds.
That is true. He's won them in M, L, and double L tonight, going for the going for the Grand Slam.
Yeah, a career Grand Slam, and certainly he's worked for it.
Tata making a great dribble and run through the middle. He's coming up to the arc at the top of the box. Looked like he was thinking of shooting and then kind of changed his mind there, and nothing really happened. Nice tackle there from Bedoya. Here's Tim Lynch forcing De Jesus out wide. Tata back to the middle. Little chip attempted there, not weighted properly. Fitch goes to clear the ball and bangs it off Tim Lynch. Wethersfield gets possession back.
Yeah, Fitch kind of pressing a little bit right now. Yeah, I think they need to kind of slow it down, check the clock. It's a 1-goal lead. It's certainly not insurmountable. We've seen oodles of goals scored in short time periods, in a lot of these class finals.
De Jesus out to Tata on the flank. Noreka comes over to cover him. Nice ball inside. Back to Tata. Plays it across. Oh, De Jesus fans on the finish.
But there's that pattern that Wethersfield loves. Overlapping run, attack the end line, play it negative.
Right. And not just negative flat on the floor with pace. It's actually what every striker's dream.
There was a bow on that ball.
There was. De Jesus tried to finish with his left and just, didn't connect. Mika Diggs cleans it up in the back, looking to distribute. Feel like Fitch has lost its rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm, and I think a little bit they exhausted so much energy in that first half with the constant press that
Petropolis plays Duffy in the channel. Makes the move inside. Wethersfield's got a couple defenders over there. There's Lynch with a crack from deep. Doesn't quite get on the end of it, and it rolls out for a Wethersfield goal kick.
And then they're just not quite as technical in that final third to take those guys on 1v1. So they need to do more of a team effort and some combination play. They might need to take a page of the Wethersfield book. Can we attack the end line and put those balls across the box and force the Wethersfield defenders facing their own goal? I mean, that might be an option because you haven't seen too much out of Duffy and other players really go 1v1 on these defenders.
Absolutely. I like that shot from Lynch, though. He just snatched at it a little bit. He kind of dragged it wide of the goal. But, make the goalkeeper make a save. He hasn't had to do anything yet. He's only been in the second half.
Right. No, and at the same time, this is the chance. You got to take some chances here. You need to make some risks, and that's worth it.
Petropolis.
I mean, that's Fitch's best player. I don't mind a ball on the end of his foot.
No, Petropolis over to Lynch. Lynch plays out to the flank. Swanson over to cover. No support there. And they play it back, and Fitch is going to win. Wethersfield's going to win and counter. That's a difficult ball. Yep, overhit. Now over to Lynch. Lynch picks out Cardona. Cardona plays out to the flank to Duffy. Oh, that was interesting as Amatovic was shepherding it out so that the goalkeeper could come get it. The goalkeeper, I thought it tipped off his finger.
I did too.
And but the referee is awarding a goal kick.
The AR didn't raise his flag at all, was kind of looking to the center official, who I'm not sure if he had a good angle to see or not, but he went with the safe call, which is a goal kick for Wethersfield.
We had a very good angle, and I actually thought it did brush his hand.
I did too. And to Fitch's dismay, in protest, it is a goal kick for Wethersfield. They haven't had too many corner kicks today, so certainly, the more they can get, the better their chances are. I think it might take a set piece for Fitch to get on the end of this thing.
Oh, nice job there by the Wethersfield defender to shepherd that ball out. I think that was Capasso.
So just under 16 minutes to play here in the second half of the Class L final here at Dillon Stadium. Great job by the CAAC to host this. All the class finals are boys and girls here in beautiful Hartford, Connecticut on a weekend of great weather.
Clouds starting to roll in, though. Of course, it's going to be dark in a half an hour.
Won't matter.
Duffy looks out to the flank.
Yeah.
Cardona running onto it, but it's a little heavy. It's going to be a Wethersfield throw.
Yeah, we've seen the lights turn on in the second half of this, second and third game, I think, yesterday. So I wouldn't be surprised if those lights pop on sooner than later with the clouds rolling in.
Throw up to Johnson. Now Tata on the overlap. Runs by Lynch. Mika Diggs comes over. Just touches it out of play. It'll be a Wethersfield throw.
Let's hope the lights don't go off too early tonight like they did last night.
Right in the middle of the double L medal ceremony. As Colin and I were trying to pack up to head out of town because it had been a 12-and-a-half hour day already. The stadium was pitch black. And they had to suspend the ceremony for a bit. Weathersfield with the throw. Heavy hit there. Weathersfield throwing.
Yeah, it was a physical contact there, but shoulder to shoulder, stayed on his feet.
Johnson gets around the end, again lays it back. And it's a redirect, the goal from number 9, Thomas Brodowitz. Brodowitz with some physical play out on the touchline, earned that throw-in for the Eagles, and then was on the end of it once Johnson got around the end. It'd be interesting to see, is that a goal for Brodowitz or an own goal? I couldn't tell if the initial shot was going wide, but it deflected off a Fitch player, and then I believe through the legs of the goalkeeper, but he had no chance on a deflection like that.
Yeah, and I think that was on the frame. I think it just kind of, redirected it slightly to the other side and kind of went through the keeper's legs there. Tough ball for the keeper to see, never mind save. But there it is, the same pattern again, attacking the end line, lateral balls on the ground, easy to redirect. Second goal for Weathersfield in this Class L final.
Yeah, that's definitely their pattern of play, don't you think?
I do.
Always was one of my favorites. Duffy finally springs loose in the box, gets to it before Daly, takes a touch, chips it to the middle. And Fitch is on the board now. Look at that. Fitch doing nothing for quite some time. Oh, no. Is it offside? No, it's a goal.
Yep.
It's a goal. Duffy gets loose in the box, picks out a teammate. It was number 8, Doug Cardona, sitting in the middle of the box. Difficult header because he had to supply all the power. But Daly was caught out of net over to the side, and the ball did bounce into the goal. So it's 3-1.
2-1.
2-1, sorry, 2-1. There've been too many games. 2-1 Weathersfield, and this game is back on.
I've always said the 5 minutes after a goal that you score are crucial because you tend to let your guard down. It's kind of that false sense of security, and coupled with the fact that, once again, 2-0, as they often say.
Colin's favorite expression, most dangerous lead in soccer.
I'm not sure if it's my favorite expression, but certainly it's been, I've been on the benefiting end of those things over the years. But we have a ball game for sure, 2-1 now with plenty of time on the clock, 13 and a half minutes left here.
Again, we did see that, though, right? We talked about how getting the ball to Duffy in space didn't seem to be the right play, but getting it to his feet. And here we have another interesting opportunity for Fitch. As the Weathersfield defender, it's hard to tell from here. I think it was Capasso bundled over the Fitch attacker, and they're going to get a free kick from just outside the area. Ooh, in a favorable spot. That's actually that's 2 or 3 yards further out than I think where the foul occurred.
Right. Surprised Coach Wolf's not throwing in more. There's nobody in the Weathersfield end near the half line, and there's 3 Fitch players kind of, just on top of the 18 and near the half line. But certainly a lot of big bodies in the box.
This is definitely a dangerous situation.
Mika Diggs on the weak side, dangerous player there.
Ball chipped across. There's Lynch with the header off the post. Timmy Lynch over the crowd, headed down to the ground, back the direction came from, just like they teach you, but glanced off the outside of the post. 4 inches to the left, and this is tied at 2.
You got it.
Ford plays the ball into the box, knocked down by Weathersfield. Played up to Brodowitz. Brodowitz brings it down. He's got Tata in the middle. Oh, what a beautiful ball over the top. Tata runs onto it, hits it far post. Ooh, through the keeper's hands, and it's in. That's a classic counter. Brodowitz picks his head up, sees Tata with pace in the middle, lofts the ball over the last defender. Tata runs onto it. I thought he was hitting it too soon, but he got it on frame.
Maybe too soon, but he hit it perfect. Surgical strike from Tata to the far post, just through the outstretched hands of the Fitch keeper, puts the Falcons up, or the Eagles up, 3-1.
Wrong bird.
You got me all confused with the predatory birds again.
And again, the goalkeeper, that's just a decision, right? He tried to catch that ball. You've got to just close your fist and punch that ball, parry that ball wide. It'll be a corner kick for Weathersfield instead of a goal. Props to Tata. He's been dangerous all day. We expected him to continue to threaten the Fitch back line. But, boy, that looked like Italy in '94. That was a classic counter.
It was, and that's why this beautiful game can also be a very cruel game. You are in a situation where you nearly tie the game 4 inches away from a tie, and next thing you know, a matter of seconds later, 3-1.
We saw it in Ellington-Stonington yesterday. We see it in Weathersfield Fitch today. After you miss a goal, an opportunity like that, you've got to keep your focus. And again, that goal happened because Fitch was pressing forward to score.
Right. I mean,
They got exposed in the
Diggs
back. Oh, and here's a beautiful ball in the box. Nice save by Daly.
That's a big-time save there to the far post. I thought he might have buried that one.
I think that was Timmy Lynch into Duffy. Duffy with a left-footed crack from just inside the penalty spot. Daly, low right-hand save. Low right-hand save to his right. Lynch with through the goalkeeper's hands, popped out to the top, now played out again to Lynch. Lynch going to look for service here, does. Service to the deep part, headed down by the Wethersfield defense, and played out. Nobody there to get it. They're going to put it right back in. Lynch again with service into the box. Boy, he got more on that header than I thought he would.
He did. I was going to say a little too far out for that kind of head ball, but it kind of squirted almost by the keeper there to the near post.
It did. Boy, this went from a kind of comfortable match in the first half where we had said, a little bit nobody taking chances to everybody taking chances, and we've got a wide open game here.
Yeah, I went from very vanilla to, a hot fudge sundae with sprinkles on it. I mean, this thing got exciting quick, but as we kind of expected. I mean, the first half they're kind of feeling each other out, but now it's about win or go home, and that's the mentality. And to the Wethersfield and Fitch side's credit, they have brought it in the second half.
Absolutely. De Jesus with the long throw. He's going to fire it down toward the corner. That's Brodowicz. Mika Diggs leaning on him. That's going to go out for a Fitch goal kick. Just over 10 minutes left here from the Class L final at Dillon Stadium in Hartford. It is Jim Leahy, my broadcast partner Colin Delaney, coming to you live. The Class L CIAC Boys State Championship Final.
Packed crowd here at Dillon Stadium. I know you might not see it from a camera angle on the far side, but this near side is packed. Easily over 1,000 fans on hand here for a big Class L match.
Obviously got to give more credit to the Fitch fans than the Wethersfield fans. Wethersfield fans just have to cross the river. Fitch fans have quite a hike. But, first time ever in a state final. They travel well, and they've been treated to an exciting match.
Yeah, the Fitch faithful for sure.
Foul, and one of the Fitch attackers here is the Wethersfield was looking to marshal the ball out of bounds for a goal kick, and really serves the same purpose. They play up to Brodowicz again. He's got Tata in the middle again. Too much pressure from Mika Diggs, and he's not able to turn and find him. Ball just over Gustafson's head. Ford picks it up. Looking up front. Again, cut out by Amatovic. It'll be a throw-in for Fitch. Cardona. Oh, good step. Good step, but Minor wins it back and just drags it left of the post.
Sort of point now in the game where we're, almost 2 minutes south of 10 minutes here, about 8.5 minutes left in this game, where you're going to see two very distinct styles of play. You're going to see, Wethersfield side trying to kill the game and a Fitch side trying to press, which sometimes can lead to some pretty exciting soccer.
Yeah, I think Wethersfield will look to be a little more deliberate. And Fitch will recognize that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Yep, for sure.
They just have to find a way to be direct without being anxious.
Correct. You want to press too much. You want to be methodical with how direct you are, and you got to get numbers forward. So the situation we saw in the Ellington-Stonington game, Ellington throwing numbers forward, gets a goal out of it, but at the same time you leave yourself exposed in the back if you do so.
Yeah. The more you can do to actually occupy the central defenders so that they have to make decisions, the more likely those balls are to scoot free.
Yeah, Fitch right now playing with three at the back. Micah kind of holding down the middle and then forward nearby in the sixth position, but they're really putting three on the attack at all times, more of a 3-4-3.
Lynch plays out to Cardona. Cardona leaves it for Minor. Minor back to Lynch. Lynch to Minor. Step with Wethersfield here. Tata's got it. Takes on Lynch. Lynch turns, plays it back. Driven up the touch. That's actually a good ball if you're trying to kill the clock, but Minor comes up and cleans it out. Tata has it again. He's going to turn the other way because he's got Cardona on him. And then Weathersfield opens up the field and kind of goes the other way.
And that's smart by Weathersfield. When you got three guys in the back here, those lateral balls can be killer if your back three aren't really, in concert.
Mika Diggs trying to cause a ruckus in the middle of the field. Made a nice play taking the ball off Brodowicz. Brodowicz wanted to let the ball run, and Diggs got his big body between him and the ball. Weathersfield's just going to knock it over the goal line here. It's going to be a goal kick for Fitch. Oh, it's a corner. I'm sorry. So it was poked away, not played away.
And Weathersfield will take their time.
Yeah, every corner kick's going to take 30 seconds off the clock. Right. Throw-ins take 10, 15 seconds off the clock, plus the obligatory 10 yards you steal before you take the throw.
All of a sudden, the left back becomes the throw-in on the right side of the field.
Deep corner. Headed out by Lynch. Ford tries to drive the ball, but kind of pops it up in the air to Duffy. Duffy brings it down. Not able to collect it. Weathersfield does collect it. Gustafson plays outside. Look up to Gastel. Plays in the middle to Jesus. Ford tries to win it, but Weathersfield has it now in the box. Coming in on goal. Nice play by Mika Diggs. Bangs it off the corner.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with, but that's a situation where I think Weathersfield will be very content with knocking it around, but if they do see an opportunity, they will strike.
I don't think there's any question that Jay Wolfrat's excited that Mika Diggs came to Fitch this season, but don't you think he's wishing he came here like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Count your blessings in the moment, though.
Nice move by Tata along the goal line. He goes down, and it's a penalty kick.
Yeah, pretty hotly contested ball right in the end line. Nowhere for the Weathersfield player to go, so a little bit of contact there, and then goes down just on the end line.
Yeah, the Fitch player's got to be careful going to ground there. That's really it, right? You've got to, if you keep your feet and you just marshal them out of bounds, you got a chance. But once you go to ground, when the player goes down, referee's forced to make a decision. Looks like Giancarlo De Jesus is going to take the.
I mean, it's already pretty uphill climb as it is for Fitch, down 2 goals with 5 minutes to play, but going down 4-1 would be a significant dagger.
De Jesus with a straight run to the ball. Goes to his left and side nets it. That's a pretty penalty.
Yeah, straight on to the ball. Didn't really give away left or right with his hips and buries it in the side netting.
Yeah, the straight run is often to the goalkeeper's right. The hard run tends to be to the goalkeeper's left unless he makes a change. But, when the ball's curved into the side netting, you can guess right or read it for that matter, and it's still hard to parry it wide.
Yeah, and it was well struck with some good pace.
Weathersfield 4. Fitch of Groton 1 here with 5 minutes and 12 seconds left in the Class L final. Weathersfield Eagles well on their way to their 16th state championship, the most of any school in Connecticut high school soccer history.
Yeah, I don't think that the score is indicative really of the game itself. I think it's indicative of Weathersfield's ability to finish in the final third. They've got more technical players in that spot than maybe Fitch does, but really box to box, we've seen a lot of good spread of the ball, some good athleticism out of Fitch, and really some chances. But just in general, I think Weathersfield just been a little bit better in that final third.
Well, we were 4 inches from the game being tied at 2. I think that Fitch has struggled to find an answer to the ball around the backs. Mm-hmm. Right, the first 2 goals and the penalty kick all caused by getting behind those outside defenders.
Right.
So whether it's speed or technical capacity that allowed Weathersfield to get around the back, you've got to find an answer. Sometimes it's bringing a second defender over. Sometimes it's just forcing the ball back in the middle earlier. But until they could handle that, Weathersfield was going to be on top, and they are.
Well, I think it's a technically smart move, too, on Coach Yakim's part, putting the likes of Tata out wide to burn the outside back. There's not too many players in the state that really can keep up with that pace. Here he is again.
4 minutes, 45 seconds left. Tata out on the flank. 1-on-1 against Norika. Goes down again. And we have another free kick outside the box. Better place to foul someone.
And that's what happens, though. When he gets around people, they're forced to foul him because now they're chasing him. Because he is so technically sound and he's quick on his feet.
And this is a dangerous free kick. Although Weathersfield doesn't have that many bodies forward.
No,
to
no
the
need
far
to.
post. Ball runs through. Looks like Johnson tracks it down. He's got Cardona on him. And again, gets around the outside and is taken down. It'll be another free kick for Wethersfield. Again, they just don't have an answer for that move.
No.
One-on-one with a defender out in the corner. I think, it's too late now, to be honest, because there's only a few minutes left in the match, but I think some teams look to bring a second defender over, right? And then you can force the ball back into the middle.
Well, it's a little shoulder fakes and shoulder checks and puts them off balance, and they get around.
Right. You just dive in. Oh, dangerous ball in the box. Lynch with a clearance header. Lynch with another volley out.
Lynch to Lynch.
And there's a ball driven up toward Martinez. Contreras tracks it down. He's going to play outside. Gustafson was in the middle for the pass, but instead they decide to go up to Tomas Santos, a senior who's getting his first action of the day. And now it looks like both sides are emptying their benches. And this is great because you want to see kids get experience.
Well,
and
not
even
just
just to be able to, and even just to be able to say they played in the state final.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, experience is great, but this is a memory that all these young men and coaches will cherish for a long time. And obviously, it's great to win one, but there's only 2 left in Class L, and you're in special company when you make this final.
Not a question. And they may not realize it today, and they may not realize it this week, but eventually they'll understand that, making it to a Class L final and losing to a squad like Wethersfield is not, it's nothing to drop your head at.
No, for sure. I mean, I think if you ask any coach, could you make the dance and get to the final and knowing you're going to lose, would you still do it? Absolutely. I mean, it's better to have loved and lost, never loved at all, that kind of mentality. So, but yeah, I think the ideas will not probably sink in for weeks, if not months.
I think one thing that's interesting is, while they did bring some additional substitute on, Mika Diggs and Timmy Lynch are still out in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I think they got to keep the spine in check. I think that's important, and I think they have earned that right to be out there.
Making announcements to make sure the Wethersfield faithful don't storm the field after the match. We still have 2 more to play out here today. We don't want additional debris on the field.
Yeah, and we saw that yesterday. Farmington came in full force, and so did Cheshire. And obviously when Farmington won that game, we kind of saw the whole student body come to the fence line.
Looks like Nicholas Kabina Idrova down for the Fitch Falcons. And we have a new goalkeeper.
Once again, good to get experience, but also good to be a part of the environment and all the pomp and circumstance involved in this kind of game.
I assume the new goalkeeper is the sophomore David Aguedo. Only because we can't see his number because he's wearing a penny because his purple uniform is a little too close to the Eagles' blue. Wethersfield ball knocked up in the air by number 20, El Hussein El Bashir. Mm-hmm. And it'll be another free kick for Fitch.
Yeah, but knowing Coach Wolfrat, I don't think the moment will be lost on him. I think he's already gained the perspective of what his team has been able to accomplish this year. It's a pretty special group of boys, win or lose.
Ball served into the box. Daly with an easy save. He collapses to the ground and covers it up. We've got a minute and a half left here from Hartford Dillon Stadium, Class L Boys Championship Final. The number 12 seeded Eagles from Wethersfield High School looking to wrap up their 16th state championship. The Fitch Falcons, their first ever appearance in the final, their first ever victories this season in the CIAC tournament. Nothing to be ashamed of. Put up a great fight. We're 4 or 5 inches away from tying the game at 2 minutes ago. And then Wethersfield said, okay, that's enough. We're just going to put it over.
And they did. I mean, it was a quick counter and then a couple goals later. But certainly this has been a high-quality match, a lot of action, exciting to watch on both sides.
Jake Laurie, a senior, appears to be a crowd favorite because he was sent in there. The Wethersfield faithful went crazy. Throw-in goes to him here. Plays back out to Caballero.
And he was motoring.
He was. Well, Bashir plays it across the middle. Fitch clears. Ooh, a little late slide tackle there, but
I mean, you know Jim as well as I do. We know a lot of great coaches in the state of Connecticut that never sniffed this game, and you can go 30 years of a career and never play in a final. So to play in one, win or lose, is always a special moment, regardless of the result.
Absolutely. 10 seconds left here as we count it down. Weathersfield High School state champions for the 16th time. I guess they weren't happy that Farmington got one closer to them last night because they appeared to extend the gap again. But really, really fun game. Great competition. Off camera, we had described the first half as a bit of a pillow fight. Both guys just feeling each other out.
Right.
And then, boy, all bets were off come the second half. Again, inches from a 2-2 tie in the middle of the second half, and then Tata kind of put it out of reach with that speed. Right, he just took off, and a classic counterattack, and now Weathersfield with the obligatory crowd jumps.
Yeah, it's a special feeling.
Yeah. No, we are both lucky enough to have been here. Things you'll never forget. Congratulations to the Weathersfield Eagles. I'll say congratulations to the Fitch Falcons. I think this is the kind of game that this weekend is all about. We are through 6 matches now. We have 8 state champions, since we have 4 co-champions on the women's side from yesterday. We have 2 matches left, the Class L girls final, the Class S boys final. If games can be like this, I'm going to actually stay awake through the entire day today. And I promise I will not say oodles again. Colin, this is your last match today. Thanks for coming in. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Always a great time. Final comments, parting thoughts?
No, this is why we do this, Jim. To broadcast games of this magnitude, on the girls and boys side is a pleasure. No one coaches for the money. No one coaches for the glory. You coach to help out young men and women get to this kind of level, and to be up here in the booth with you on so many occasions this season, and I'm sure in the future, is always a pleasure, and I look forward to it again.
Well, thanks, Colin. And to all you folks out there watching, thank you for tuning in to NFHSnetwork.org. It's been our pleasure. Again, the final from here at Dillon Stadium, Hartford. Weathersfield Eagles 4, Fitch Falcons 1. And we'll be back in a little over half an hour for the Class L girls final between St. Joseph Trumbull and Simsbury High School. Thank you very much.